Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask Gambit. Gambit know it had been a couple years since you heard from him. That is because Gambit has been busy. Him has been Secretary of Cards in the Biden administration. And it has been busy. Pete Buttigieg became Pete Buttigieg. And it was a whole mess. But now Gambit back because podcaster named Gravy asked him to, because another podcaster named Swamp Man was feeling the sick and had things going on. So Gambit answer your question for Christmas as well. It is also Christmas show. Sam asked Gambit. He said, Gambit, what books have you been reading lately? Well, Gambit read It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. The Choice by Nora Roberts. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Verity by Colleen Hoover. Friends, Lovers, and The Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. That is because Gambit loved to read the New York Times bestseller list. Him not always get through all the titles on the list. That is as far as Gambit has gotten. But Gambit do like to keep up with the titles. May I ask Gambit? Gambit, what do you think of the Gambit system in Final Fantasy XII? Gambit confused by this question. Him asked Professor Name of Beast to use computer to look it up. And Hank McCoy, him show Gambit a video game with a system named after Gambit, got nothing to do with no Gambit. But Gambit look at it and he see man named Baltier, and Gambit recognize game. So Gambit okay with it. But then also when Hank McCoy was Googling, he see many video game with Gambit in it. X-Men Legends, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So Gambit in many video game. Him even in X-Men Destiny. Not X-Men Mystique, as you might think. That is foreshadowing for later question. So Gambit okay with it. It seemed good because Baltier got Gambit style, and Gambit would fuck that rabbit. Zaylin asked Gambit, F. Mary Kill, Cole Ross, Dermagreer, Will Huggies. Gambit confused by this question. I do not know what F. Mary Kill mean. I have heard something similar before, but it mean getting down, dirty, and low. Like when you fuck. Like when Gambit do with Rogue sometime when her power no work for some reason. Gambit not know these people. Gambit recognize name in middle, Germa as if maybe Swamp Man. Him not know who the Huggies is. So Gambit will say in that order he will F. Nicole Ross, marry Swamp Man, kill the Huggies. Jonathan asked Gambit, do you ever prank the Cyclops? If so, how? Gambit do play prank from time to time, but the thing is with Gambit prank is that his only prank is charge the card, or charge the toilet paper, or charge the toothbrush, or charge the fork. Gambit got limited bag of tricks outside the bedroom share. So Gambit has charged the visor. Gambit have charged the picture of Jean Grey. Gambit has charged the tombstone of Jean Grey. Gambit don't give a shit. And Cyclops not appreciate it. Him not consider it a prank. It make him turn dark and kill Professor Name of X. Ranger asked Gambit, do you suck the heads? Of course Gambit suck the heads. You got to get every delectable crawdad juice out of the heads. It is where the crawdad brain is, and that is how you get smarter. Stephen Riken something asked Gambit, say, hello from Canada, Gambit. Who is Canada Gambit? I did not know there was a Canada Gambit. Is him an Alpha Flight? Steven says, if you had to choose a a Transformer to team up with for a crossover episode, who would it be and why? Gambit confused by this question. Gambit not know what Transformers is. Him did not have electricity on Bayou. So him not watch cartoons. Him later find out it cartoon from ask other X-Men about it during weekly Gambit meeting, where him ask them what things are. Him look at the cartoon, he would choose the one that is the car. Alex asked Gambit, say, dearest Gambit, have you got to play Marvel Snap yet? Or do you instinctively blow up your phone with all the card holding? Gambit confused by this question. At the same meeting, Gambit asked other X-Men what X-Men Snap is at X-Men Gambit meeting of the week. And the other X-Men get out their phone and show Gambit card game that is surprisingly pretty good. More than you might think for a tie-in game with the Marvel Universe. Gambit tried to play, but whenever he played Gambit card, it got killed by bigger card. And there's only one Gambit card in the deck, so him not know which one is assigned to him. It is difficult for Gambit. Cal asked, Gambit, what is it like to die? Gambit had died many times and seen the other side. But most recently is what Cal referred to. And honestly, Gambit think it no big deal. Especially now, Krakoa era, we all die and come back all the time. It is nothing. It doesn't feel good, but it's not so bad. It's a little bit like stubbing the toe, but for the whole body. Tom Walton says, I wasn't prepared for that video, but there is no question mark there, Tom. You not follow the rules. You need to go back to school or Gambit take you back to school. Eli say, Gambit. Well, Eli did not say Gambit. I'm just adding Gambit at the beginning of these because I want to remind myself who they're for. They say, best country? And that is a good question. There are a lot of countries out in this world. I know of a couple of them. There is, of course, Louisiana, where Gambit from, and there is France. And that is where Gambit ancestors come. That is why Gambit talk like idiot. The Gambit think that maybe best country might be Louisiana, but Gambit have been enjoying the Savage Land a lot lately. Ordinarily, Gambit does not like hanging around with dinosaurs because they are difficult to fight and they do not understand Gambit word. But the thing about the Savage Land is that every girl on the Savage Land wear no clothes. It a National Geographic emergency. Gambit see the bouncing titties of the cave women, and Gambit enjoy that quite a bit. So Savage Land is best country. Tyler say, what the most satisfying thing to charge and explode with your powers? The most satisfying thing to explode and charge with me powers is cards. Before Gambit met uncle named Penn Jillette who teach him about cards, Gambit charged other things. Him charged rocks. Him charged his gloves. Gambit charged anything he picked up. It was Penn Jillette who taught him card magic, and then he learned that is the most satisfying thing to blow up. And him base his whole personality on that. Many people think that the charging came first and he chose cards because they are cool, but no, the charging came first and he chose cards because they are easy good. Naveem say, hey Gambit, in Marvel Snap, you cost 3 energy and only have 1 power. When you're played, you force me to discard a card and then destroy a random opposing card. Why don't you just use one of your own cards rather than take one of mine? I know you have plenty in your trench coat, you cheapskate. This is the most confusing question Gambit has ever been asked, and I think that Naveen is sick. Edward say, hi Gambit, what does the word Gambit mean? Have a blessed one. Edward, you be blessed as well. I bless you with the crawdad of all. What does Gambit mean? That is a deeply existential question that Gambit will have to wrestle with, perhaps some therapist named Emma Frost and or Psylocke to help Gambit with what Gambit mean. Gambit try to be nice, but sometime I imagine Gambit do be mean. I do not know why him mean sometime. Gambit just get these feelings and him not know what to do with them. And sometimes they come out to his fingers and him charge the card. But sometimes he got nothing to do but scream. Gambit just go crazy in his head. So it is a good question. It is an X-Men emergency to find out what is wrong with Gambit. And Gambit will ask you, Edward, in blessed way, to write note that him can give to Emma Frost or other team psychologists who help Gambit not hurt in the head. Phil say, hey Gambit, what is the backstory behind getting your trench coat? Would it be worth making a feature-length Origins movie about? I will answer the second question first. Yes. The answer to the first question is Target. Tyler say, what is the best Skyrim guild? Thieves or assassins? Gambit confused by this question. So him in X-Men Explain to Gambit weekly meeting, him go to other X-Men and say, X-Men, what's Skyrim? And they explain it to Gambit. It is another video game like Marvel Snap or like the Ultimate Alliance or the Destiny. And so Gambit go and him play a little bit of Skyrim. And it was boring to get to the first section where you on the hayride. That was too boring for Gambit. So Gambit stopped. But in a general sense, Thieves are always better. They have more style. And there are fewer white guys with dreadlocks in the Thieves Guild. You may not think that would be a big part of it, but it is. The assassins love to be they love to steal from the culture, as opposed to steal from the museum. KL said, Gambit, how do you know Riptide anyway? Riptide is Marauder, him a spinny, him go in circles. Gambit know him because him know all the Marauders. When Gambit got out of school, Gambit needed money is the thing. So Gambit, like many young mutant, do a little bit of side work for Mr. Sinister. And it get played into a big deal. Everyone put me on the trial. Everyone upset because people I hire go and kill the Morlocks. Gambit, the Morlocks, Gambit really want to know if we really care too much, to be fair. The Morlocks, Gambit not know how to say this without figuring out what Gambit mean instead of how Gambit nice. Going back to Edward's question. Gambit just think that everybody make a big deal out of it. Gambit just needed money. So Gambit met Riptide in bar and gave him money to go and kill the Morlock. Robert said, what the Capri San Cole mean? That mean a goat without horns. It is a sacrifice in my culture, Robert. It is what we do to people. But I call it religion when I do it. Magic Door Bookshop. I had never been asked a question by a bookshop. I wonder if they have the New York Times best-selling titles for me to read. They say, Gambit, when you spending a night in watching TV, what's your equivalent of eating ice cream from the tub? Gambit eat ice cream in the tub all the time, but not while watching TV, because when Gambit wired a TV above the tub, B say it electrical hazard and perhaps could kill Gambit. So Gambit enjoys some tub cream, but Gambit watch TV separate. And Gambit watch Nick at Night and Radio Disney. Andrew said, could you please explain the concept of l'esprit de l'esquier in your homespun way? And Gambit confused by this question. Gambit have not heard that term in quite a while. It is a French term from Denis Diderot, from a description of the situation in his Paradoxe sur le Comédien. This is when you come up with a good reply too late. So this is, let us explain this in terms of X-Men. let us say, Cyclops come up to you and say to you, Gambit, I've had enough of you leaving your cards everywhere and leaving your underwear, your bikini briefs, leaving them around the laundry room. You got to put them into the washer, Gambit. Him very mad. And Gambit get mad because him did not like being yelled at. Then Cyclops yell and him go to danger room. And then the next day, Gambit in middle of living room and him go, stop your wife's from dying. And that was the perfect reply, but Gambit think of it too late. Alex say, would Gambit like to live deliciously? And does Gambit like bacon or sausage with him breakfast? Gambit always lived deliciously. There's nothing more delicious than being Gambit. And Gambit enjoys sausage with breakfast. To Gambit, bacon is anytime food. You add it to anything. But sausage is more Cajun. So first meal of the day, I like to remember my roots. Randall said, Gambit, did Gambit know that Chris Claremont is writing the Gambit miniseries in the year of our Lord 2022? Gambit know. When they start a new Gambit series, they send Gambit the first issue, and they send him a gift card for Marvel Unlimited, so Gambit can check it out for a 1-month trial. So Gambit know. Him had not read it. Gambit think that Chris Claremont used to write him better a long time ago. It has honestly been decades since Chris Claremont got good at writing Gambit. Literal decades. People have lived and died since him write good book. It make Gambit sad. Gary say to Gambit, hi Gambit, big fan. How often do you accidentally charge the TP after using the bathroom? Gambit covered this on an old episode of Ask Gambit. Gambit does not often use TP. Him purposely charged TP to prank X-Men, but for him, he uses him butthole to charge the poo-poo and blast it out into the toilet direct. So Gambit does not need to use the toilet paper. Him is a walking bidet. Murder, Rotenberger asked Gambit, say, Gambit, subtitles, yes or no? Movie subtitles, yes or no? The subtitle is the title after the main title. So, for example, Gambit favorite movie, Attack of the Clones. The movie is called Star Wars, but then the second movie title is Attack of the Clones. So I say yes. The subtitle help you differentiate from the original title. Otherwise, you do not know that it is new movie. Micah say, hello Gambit, long time fan, first time caller. Now that you're married, and then there's a hug, a parentheses that says in the comics, and then there's a backwards hug that wife, I don't know what it means. How do you get along with your mothers-in-law? I know Destiny let you get your shit rocked a bit ago. And then there's another, it's like a C, but it is stretching. And it says X-Men 11. And then there's the reverse of it. But surely you've had some time to cook them a po' boy or two since, correct? This question confusing. I believe this question asks whether I fuck her to Destiny. Destiny's scary. I do not know if you met Destiny. She is my mother-in-law, but kind of my mother-in-law mother because she is wife of Mystique, who is mother to Rogue, my cher, my belle. Destiny always wear that mask and make her look like a Squid Game. It scared Gambit, so Gambit tried to stay away from her. Gambit have no idea how old she is, what she look like. Gambit very confused by masks. And when X-Men known as Banshee show Gambit Squid Game, Gambit was scared the whole time. There's just one more question for Gambit. Tom said to, hey Gambit, what should I get my girlfriend for Christmas? That is a good question. Getting your girlfriend something for Christmas is a good way to not end up in the doghouse. if you know what I mean. Sometimes you do something bad and your girl or your partner or your belle or your share, they do not like it and they put you in a dog's house. And you do not want this. So you want them to stay sweet. And the way you do that sometimes is get them gifts. And it is time for Christmas, which is a good time for gifts. It is an opportunity, as I like to say, for gifts. So I do not know your girlfriend, but I believe you should do something romantic, like leave a trail of Queen of Hearts cards from front door to the bedroom. And then when she follow the cards, she come to the bed and it is just you in the trench coat and nothing else though. So your dick is hang. And maybe at this point you have been fluffing, or maybe at this point you have been thinking about all the down dirty. So maybe you turged, maybe you a little bit charged yourself. If not, it's okay. You'll get there. So then she's just got home from work and she maybe had a rough time, but she sees this and maybe she not in the mood, maybe she not get flood, but she look at this and she see that you making an effort to keep the love alive. And that is very meaningful. Also, you can get her an Xbox. That's going to be all for Ask Gambit. I've been passed a little note. They say, this is from Gravy. He say that the regular episodes of this show will come back, and him thank everybody for them patience. They're talking about Rick Reminder's X-Force, and but family stuff happens sometime. I understand that. I get called back to the bayou all the time. Belladonna will not let us make a clean break. And I've been talking to my 2 therapists about it. So the family stuff happened, and we be back. We appreciate you. And until next time, aces over eights and deuces wild.